Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, or happy Monday, or Tuesday, or I don't even know what freaking day it is anymore. I just have to say, I think this new order from Mr. Governor is complete BS. I've been doing a lot of reading and research from reputable sources about states that have no stay-at-home order. I mean, I believe they all have some restrictions, obviously, but the 10 states I will refer to do not have actual stay-at-home orders, and all businesses, to the best of my knowledge, are able to stay open. And ironically enough, they all have very low rates, similar to Wisconsin, very low rates of the coronavirus and low death rates. So I really think that the handling of this is a complete botch job. I mean, this is just terrible. I'm not going to put all the blame on Mr. Evers. The national government has some fault in this, obviously. I don't want this to become a political video or BS. I just want to say my thoughts on this whole thing because I can't bite my damn tongue anymore. It's a freaking joke. Businesses are suffering and employees are suffering. It's a complete freaking nightmare. There's no reason that we cannot open the state back up carefully. I'm not saying full boat, open it up, people can do what they want, because yes, coronavirus is a real thing. All these conspiracy theorists are freaking nut jobs. There's no conspiracy here. Coronavirus, COVID-19 is a real thing, and it's something to be taken seriously. However, there is much better ways, I believe, in handling things, because the cure is going to be far worse at this point than the sickness itself. I'm going to be doing a video series, so I'm going to be putting a little studio together. So I'm actually on my way to Menards right now. So going along with what I'm saying about opening things back up, using a face mask, even if you can't get face masks, some kind of facial covering is going to help. Coughing or sneezing, obviously it's not perfect, and then having your hand sanitizer, washing your hands frequently, and I do mean frequently. I mean, you go get gas, you grab the gas pump, you wash your hands before you touch your credit card, you swipe your card through, you wash your hands afterwards, as soon as you're touching the keypad. I mean, you have to be smart about this, and I really think that a lot of industries can open up and continue if they are smart. But this whole bullshit of completely shutting things down is so detrimental. It's ridiculous. At this point, I believe we're at, Wisconsin, maybe 3,700 cases out of 5.8 million. We're talking, what is that, 0.017% of the population or something like that I saw. So don't quote me on that exact percentage, but it's so minuscule. And yes, I understand the goal is to not flood hospitals and overwhelm the resources that we have, but there are so many better ways that we can be handling this. And to my point, I will be, as soon as I get back from running to get some wallboard here, I'll show you the actual information directly from the states that are open right now, and it includes their number of cases, it includes the death rate, it includes their population, it also includes the square miles, so we're talking population density, because obviously a state with 10 million people in it, that's 10 square miles versus a population of 1 million in 300,000 square miles is a big difference. So I have compiled all that, and I'll go through that to further prove my point that I really don't think this whole stay-at-home order is necessary, and it can definitely be handled in much better ways. And again, this is my uneducated opinion, because I'm clearly not a doctor, but I do know everything. Just kidding, that's what my wife thinks, or she yells at me because she thinks I think that. But either way, I'm fed up with this. I can't stand. Really? We're going to extend it till March 26th now? This is just nuts. I feel horrible for all the businesses that are shut down, because the piddly stimulus amount isn't going to do anything, and the PPP program is only going to help businesses that are able to continue doing business, because if businesses are closed or have very limited amounts of work that they can do, the PPP doesn't do anything. If you can't bring your employees back, it doesn't do anything. So furloughing mortgages isn't going to help, especially if you've got, let's just say the business brings in $10,000 a month. At the end of those, let's just say, we're shut down for 2 months or 3 months. The business is still going to have to pay their mortgage for those 3 months. Bank isn't going to forgive it. They're just going to have a giant lump sum to pay after that 3 months. Or maybe the bank will be nice and space it out over 12 months or something. But regardless, it's got to get paid back. And now that business is down 3 months of income. So we're talking down $30,000. So they're still going to have to pay for everything. This doesn't freaking work. God, this is just irritating. So again, I don't want this to be a political thing, or someone, this is because you're liberal, or this is because you're Republican. This is my point of view, because I'm just fed up and I wanted to get it off my chest. I'm sick of sitting on the sidelines and not saying anything. And you may agree, you may disagree. That's fine. I'm not looking to start a fight. I'm just fed up, and this is my way of venting. So, yeah. So I am pulling up to Menards now, and this will be kind of a good video shot here to prove the point that shutting things down and only leaving select businesses open doesn't really matter. It's the middle of the day, and Menards is packed. I mean, literally, absolutely packed. It is very clear people do not want to be sitting home doing nothing. Now again, this goes back to being safe, because if people are in here and they're not being safe, it doesn't do any good. So I'm gonna video a little bit while I go in here and see what we see. But if there's any mandate, it should be people wearing facial coverings when they're close to other people, because that's gonna solve it. So, or maybe I shouldn't say solve it. That's gonna help tremendously compared to just telling everyone, hey, stay home, you're grounded. So this would be kind of interesting seeing what we see. So we're inside Menards now, and I'm gonna kind of walk around and show everyone how ridiculous this order is, because the order's in place and there's a lot of freaking people walking around without masks, so it's not really doing any good anyways. No masks. No masks. Pretty much that way everywhere. This is a joke. All right, just got back in the truck, and here's another thought. When you're done, if you do have a face mask on, after you're done using it, don't grab it here and take it off. I mean, that completely defeats the purpose. There's so many people I've seen just acting with no common sense. If you did inhale the virus and it is on your mask, grabbing it isn't going to do any good. So grab it here, grab your ear, take her off, put it in a plastic bag, and then wash your hands. Now, onto the actual data itself. Sorry, it's a little echoey in here right now. Looking at all of the states that currently don't have a stay-at-home order is kind of what furthered or solidified my belief that I really don't think the stay-at-home order is working as effectively as it's claimed to be. So based on the 9 states, and earlier I said there was 10, it's actually 9 that do not have a stay-at-home order. I'm sure all of them have some kind of restrictions, but not an actual stay-at-home order that's shutting almost everything down. Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, North Dakota, Utah, and Wyoming are all in that same boat that they don't have an actual stay-at-home order. Looking at the number of cases in each state and comparing it against the population, and then of course comparing it against the actual population density, because you do have to factor that in, because if there's only 20 people in the entire state and it's a 1,000,000-mile state, obviously it's going to be pretty hard to spread the COVID-19 around when there is no one within 100 miles of you. So factoring all of that in, the data shows that it's pretty conclusive that the stay-at-home order is not nearly as effective as they're claiming it to be. So I think it's complete BS that we have it now, let alone that it's extended to the end of May. We really should be practicing safe distances and putting masks on or facial coverings and washing your hands frequently, and we could get back to a normal life. Because let's see, so South Carolina is actually, they have a population of just under what Wisconsin does, but the state size is tremendously less square mileage wise. So their population density is almost twice what Wisconsin is, and they have, give or take, the same amount of cases that Wisconsin does, and they have no stay-at-home order. So clearly something isn't working here, because between the, if you look at the actual percentage of the population that has the coronavirus in each state compared to Wisconsin. So Wisconsin has 0.06%, that's right, 0.06% of the population of Wisconsin has the coronavirus. Now if you compare that against Iowa, 0.06, Nebraska, 0.04, Kansas, I'm sorry, Arkansas, not Kansas, Arkansas, 0.04, North Dakota, 0.04, Oklahoma, 0.05, South Carolina, 0.06, South Dakota, 0.11, Utah, 0.07, Wyoming, 0.04. So all of those, with the exception of South Dakota, are give or take within a 0.0 percentage point of what we have in Wisconsin. We have the stay-at-home order, they don't. So if you look at the actual data itself, I don't know that it's doing anything, and we're totally fucking over all of the small business owners. Because again, just because the PPP program is actually out of money, so that's not going to help businesses at this point. But the vast majority of businesses, if they're already working, don't necessarily need the PPP. It's the businesses like the restaurants and the bars and salons and all the other industries that are actually shut down. Those are the ones that need help, and they can't get it, because if you can't work, you couldn't get the PPP in the first place. So we need to change something here. It's not working. And again, this is just my interpretation of pulling the numbers together. All the numbers are right from the CDC, and obviously the population density and things like that are right from governmental sites. It's not a right wing or a left wing site that's trying to lean one way or another. And this is just my opinion. So take it or leave it, it's up to you. But I think we need to change some things, and hopefully some people will start to listen, and we'll see where it goes.